So we pick up at the Coalition base, where Thetis losing his mind upon hearing the news that the Coalition has lost Mark, Nolan, and Oliver. He says how they were the linchpin of their whole attack, basically saying they were the most important before calming down and apologizing. At the same time, we see the Viltrumites reacting to losing Conquest in the battle, as they don't know where he is and they hope that he low-key doesn't even come back. Imagine being so insane that your own people don't even want you back. But right under the ship, we see Alan and Zach currently hidden under the ship thanks to his tech jacket. He says that he learned this from a movie once. Moving back to this random planet, we see Nolan give Conquest a burial site. Oliver, understandably confused, asks, why did you even bother burying him? Couldn't we just throw him into space? Nolan tells him that he's doing it out of respect. He says that even though Conquest lost his way, he was the greatest of Viltrumite warriors, and we see that he even respects him more because after all this time, he stayed loyal to Viltrum, something Nolan wasn't even able to do. We go back to Mark, who even looks like the hell he went through. Oliver questions if they're waiting for Mark to heal to bring him somewhere else, but Nolan tells him that soon the Coalition will be in open war with the Viltrumites, so no facility will be safe at all. The best bet is to stay where they are and wait the few months for him to heal, as the cape will hold him together and ease the healing process. All Oliver can think about is how bad the situation is because his brother's half dead and now they're stranded on some random planet. But Nolan cheers up the moment and just says, it's enough time for me to get to know you. This really shows us how far Nolan has grown as a character, especially since we know how violent Viltrumites can be. We've seen battle beasts get picked up from space, just like in the show, except that happens much earlier than it did in the comics. As Thetis sits and contemplates his next move, he's called in by these two, and I'm not gonna lie, I forgot their names. I know, L YouTuber, I'm not going back. If you want to, you can, but I'm lazy right now. They tell Thetis how the attack on the ship returning from Earth is serving as the first strike, and they need his final word for war to begin. And while Thetis gathers himself, he says to them, commence the initial assault, and all war breaks loose. And while this is happening, Nolan and Oliver are hunting for food to eat since they've been stranded on some random planet for like 2 weeks without food while Mark's been healing. And as Oliver says he'll never eat what they just caught, Nolan looks over like, are you sure? As the next thing we see is the two feasting. I'm talking feasting. Food's so good, got my boy Oliver sucking on the bone asking for more. Nolan just laughs as he knew he would end up liking it eventually. It's been 2 weeks, he's gotta eat something. Cutting back to Zach, he's showing Alan now that he can grow a beard. But this part is interesting. We learn that his tech jacket cleans him every night, removing all bacteria from his body, so it must have been shaving him too. Because of this, he thought he just couldn't grow a beard at all. I'd be hype as hell, I'm not gonna lie. If that was me, I'm looking for the master control setting that allows me to remove shaving as an option. Let me keep my beard. As the two feel rumbling, Zach gets a bit shook. Then Alan tells him he has a tracker in his gear that's operating at a specific frequency, and if you don't know it, it's undetectable. So with that being said, it's serving as a distress signal because he's currently lost. So the noise he's hearing is really just their backup arriving. As this is going on, Oliver and Nolan are continuing to tend to Mark. And in these 2 pages, we dive deep into Nolan and how he really feels, so strap up. So Oliver asks his dad if he really does love Debbie. He responds with, I know I do. It took me months of healing in a Viltrumite prison to see. He tells him how Viltrumites don't care for each other like humans do, how their lives are so long that they grow distant over time. You'll never hear one of them admit it, but they're lonely, which makes Conquest's confession to Mark all the more impactful. I'm glad he's gone though. Bro had to go though. Like, we not keeping Conquest in. Like, he gotta go. He says how at first he was a spectator just watching human lives and acting like them, but then him and Debbie had Mark and raised him as a human and not a Viltrumite, which he actually kinda enjoyed. And when he learned that Mark finally got his powers, it was a burden because that meant he had to go back to his Viltrumite duties whether he wanted to or not. When he looked down at Mark and saw him beaten by his own hand, any other Viltrumite would have felt nothing, but him, he was devastated. He knew he made a mistake, but it was already too late because he's already gone so far. Like, just reading this makes going back and watching season 1 all the more worth it. As the two continue talking, they speak about Oliver's mom and his lifespan. He says how their people found his affection for his mom weird, but she didn't mind it, and he gets sad when thinking about her death, and also brings up about his aging and how he thinks about it often. But Nolan just reassures him that he'll outlive him, so he doesn't have to worry about it. As Nolan wants to go back to Mark since they've been gone for a while, Oliver, last second, finds a nest of those bugs that we're eating. Bear with me here, we're gonna do some jumping because in the comics, that's what they're doing. They're jumping a little bit. The two talk about how Oliver has come to like the bugs. Alan launches an attack on a planet where the Viltrumites have set up a base. Oliver and Nolan laugh about how Mark and Eve are always getting busy in the house and it's awful to him. Alan and Tech Jacket retreating from a risky attempt to get Ragnars to use against the Viltrumites. Mark's healing is now starting to speed up since his spine is almost fully healed. The two start training, which gets Oliver hyped up. We learn that Battle Beast has now joined the cause, some more training, and finally Mark gets healed enough to utter his first words in months. Kill you. With that being said, it won't be long until he fully gains full consciousness. As we move on, we see the Viltrumite Grand Regent Thragg talking to someone. He states, "The information you've been feeding us for years isn't enough. When we attack the coalition headquarters, you will lower the defenses at the time being transmitted to you. Respond." And with the last words being spoken, we learn that the traitor is one of the coalition's most trusted members. I'm sorry, bro. I'm so sorry, but I don't know their names. Let me know in the comments, please. As Thetis gathers all the leaders in a group meeting, look at this motherfucker, bro. He looks guilty as look at him, bro. It just gets me mad. He looks ashamed. He tells them they're all being equipped with weapons to help in the war against Viltrumites, and their linchpins are currently missing, so they won't be able to help. As he's talking, he's interrupted. As all the leaders look in shock, a boom is heard as we see the Viltrumites have launched their attack on Telescria, the main base, the headquarters. We go back to Oliver and Nolan bonding, and we get to see what Oliver thinks about different species and their attractiveness. He only finds some humans attractive, but they have to be unique. And one time, Debbie took him to a restaurant, and even though he ate it, bro thought the lobster looked kind of attractive. Like, look, bro, I don't know. Look at his species. They're bugs. Lobsters are underwater bugs. Like, it's a connection, but with this in mind, Nolan tells him he can hook him up with someone. His neighbor's daughter has a similar appearance to lobsters, which, you know, unlucky for him, I guess. As the two talk about how flying has made them think what's the point of walking, Nolan senses something back at camp. As the two rush back, it's none other than Mark, who regained consciousness. I don't care, I'm glazing. Look at bro, he got a beard. He's rocking that shit. His first question is, where's Conquest? Did you kill him? Like, damn, bro, you just woke up after months. No shower, teeth cleaning, no hair brushing, nothing? He says, no, son, you did. He says he's glad that he's dead, but he doesn't know how he did it. He was so much stronger before, but he didn't think. He just acted. And he was so scared doing so. And this is where we get confirmation on Mark's adrenaline. He says he beat Conquest because he had rage and adrenaline and was more invested in the fight than Conquest was. And he acted more of a spectator in his own fights. This finally shuts down him having adrenaline as a theory and labels it as a fact. He says that he vowed not to kill anymore, but Nolan calmly reminds him this is war and it's time for them to rejoin the fight. As we cut back to Telescria, we see Thragg monologuing. He talks about how everything was great until Thetis and the traitors from Earth, and how soon the war will be over in their favor as his liege will be avenged, and we see him speaking to the skull of the late Viltrumite Emperor, Argyle. As Thetis gets up, he realizes one of the traitors was one of his trusted men, lunging for the first one he saw. He says, not me, him, but as Thetis charges, he's interrupted by General Krieg. As the attack continues, Alan and Zach arrive to help. As the tensions rise, Zach looks up and notices something amazing. We see our boys finally pulling up to help in the war, and these three, I swear, they're like Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man. They are the big three, bro. As Thetis tells them to help the outskirts of the city, Mark says, sure. Just one thing first. He tells Oliver to keep up with him since he has a plan, and the next thing we see is insane. They straight up fly right through the Viltrumite ship, splitting it in half. This causes everyone to have to force their attention onto the ship so it doesn't hit the city. So they decide to take the ship and throw it into the space while Viltrumites retreat. Like, they all dip. Even the ones fighting just left mid-fight. Without them, everyone surrendered, and the coalition and the traitor gets confronted by his brother, I'm assuming. He shoots him in the head, but somehow it isn't death for him, but he does spill the beans though. He says it's over. They lost. If the attack here today was lost, the plan was to reconvene on the planet Viltrum to launch a counterattack, and in this time, every single Viltrumite is regrouping. All 50 of them. Oh my god. Wait. Well, 49 of them, but still, oh my god. And with this comes an end to the chapter. I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna be a W video. Well, I hope, at least. And the coalition, they're currently up 2-1 right now. I don't care. They won the first battle when Conquest pulled up, lost the battle on planet Ula, then won again against the Viltrumite's second strike. Nah, we up. Sorry for long space in between uploads. Something's been wrong with my PC. I've been trying to fix it. I don't know what's wrong with it, but for right now, we back. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment below your favorite part of the video or what you can't wait to see or want to see next. With that being said, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.